continues here at Scudamore Field at NKU Soccer Stadium as FC Cincinnati 2 host Orlando City B for their first and only meeting of the season. FC Cincinnati 2 are building some confidence after a win versus Inter Miami and a comeback two-pointer against Red Bull New York 2. They'll look to make the success a pattern here this evening. For Orlando City B, they are currently 7th in the Eastern Conference standings, but the margins are super thin, and a run of positive results could quickly see them in a really nice spot. Welcome one and all to the broadcast. My name is Mark Stonester. Excited to be bringing this one to you today on One Football and along the MLS streaming services on YouTube. Here's a look at our starting 11s. First off, for Sammy Castellanos' side, just two changes from the side that got that comeback 2-2 draw and win in pens against Red Bull New York 2. The big name to look out for, Christian Fletcher, getting his second start this season. It's been a long road of recovery for him, the first teamer. And boy, did he get a nice little reward in their friendly against Burnley earlier this week. Got to score a penalty in the closing stages of that match. The only other lineup change is Ayub Lashar, another first teamer, who will be slotting in at the left back spot and also getting some minutes as the first team starts to ramp back into play here after the MLS break. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, for Eddie Wilding's side, a couple more changes. It's 4 total from their game on the road against Crown Legacy. One of the big names to notify you of here. First off, Juan Rojas in goal. Started the last 2 matches, so this will make it 3 in a row for the 18-year-old Venezuelan goalkeeper. Then the first teamer, Tahir Reed Brown, will be starting at left back today. A couple other changes. Landon Okonski, Caleb Trombino, and Matthew Belgadere all make their way back into the starting lineups. All names that have featured this season pretty frequently for Coach Wilding. We are excited to have you here today at NKU Soccer Stadium. Eamon Hadzic, wearing the red officials uniform, will be the one to keep the fairness and the peace on the pitch here this evening. It'll be the yellow kits primary for Orlando with the purple accents. Meanwhile, the blue for FC Cincinnati 2. It'll be a fun one here. Neither of these sides have anything really know what to expect as far as this game is concerned, given the fact they haven't played up to this point in the year. And although they're in the same conference, this will be the only meeting they have this season. Of course, that's scheduled. Right now, Orlando City B in a position where they feel pretty confident about their chances of making the postseason. It's going to take a run for FC Cincinnati 2, but Sammy Castellanos coming into this season knew is going to be a grind, especially in the early stages as they lay the foundations and try to really establish some culture here in FC Cincinnati 2 under new tutelage. It certainly hasn't stopped him from demonstrating positivity about where this team is and where it's going. As the whistle sounds and we are underway here in Highland Heights, Kentucky, just outside of Cincinnati. Once again, FC Cincinnati 2 and Orlando City B in their first meeting of the season. Mark Schoenster on comms with you here. Let's see what these two sides have to offer. It's FC Cincinnati 2 going left to right. Orlando City B right to left. .83 degrees right now in Highland Heights, 70% humidity, so it's going to work up a little bit of a sweat in this weather. We've been seeing some of the temperatures in matches around the country at this time of the year, and honestly, 83, you take it. Certainly not the most ideal, especially with the heavy humidity, but I imagine both of these teams have and will play in even more averse circumstances. There will be hydration breaks in both halves, which will, of course, help accommodate for the not so friendly weather. So the whistle will sound. was a little bit delayed. Eamon Hadzic, our head official. So he's not going to play advantage. It will be a free kick for the home side. And I think he's just taking this opportunity to have a real stern talking to and really lay the groundwork for what he is going to allow, what he expects from the players in this match. And although you would have loved advantage to be played, you certainly like the idea of the head official laying down the law real quickly and really setting his bar and his standards early on in the match and give the players a proper understanding of what can be expected of the ref and what they can be expected to get away with or what they can't get away with. As long as it's consistent, of course. This ball be thread forward, pings over to the left-hand side. Belgodier chips it over the keeper and ends up being glanced away at the end of things. An early opportunity for the 16-year-old. But rushing out is the first-team goalkeeper, Fabian Morozek. And here's a look at it again. It was either Morozek or the streaking defender that got a piece of that one on the attempted shot. So the first flash of the game comes from the visitors, Orlando City Beat. The team currently sitting on 30 points in the standings, which only is good enough for 7th place, but it's 4 points out of first. So that just goes to show you how tight it is in the Eastern Conference right now. 3 different teams at 34 points as it stands. Columbus Crew 2, Crown Legacy, and Chattanooga. So you win a couple games and you could fly up the standings, and then you could drop some points, and then suddenly you drop down again. Another one of those teams that's up there in the standings, Red Bull New York 2. A team that came into this facility, earned themselves a 2-0 lead going into the halftime break, only for SC Cincinnati 2 to find 2 goals in the second half, one via penalty and one via a pretty crazy own goal that brought the game to penalties. And FC Cincinnati 2, whom sort of made a reputation for being very good at penalties, wins their first shootout of the year. And by their first shootout, I mean that was their first draw all season, so they're now 1 of 1. But the big thing that Sammy Castellanos took away from that game was just the resiliency of the group. It'd be very easy to get overwhelmed thinking about the pedigree and the notoriety of Red Bull New York 2, coming off of back-to-back 5-0 drubbing, so you know they're feeling themselves coming in. But Coach Castellanos said that we wanted to make it about us and what did we need to do to perform. And he felt pretty good about how they were playing up until they got caught that first time and then got caught a second time to make it 2-0. And then at halftime, he really challenged them to dig in more. They did. They stepped up. He was really proud of the effort. You can nitpick the goals all you want, a penalty and what was quite the own goal, but you can definitely argue on that own goal that that was product of some heavy pressure from the likes of Shea Woon-Young. Meanwhile, on the flip side of things, for Orlando City B, coming off a game where in some metrics you could feel good, in some maybe not so good. A 1-1 draw and a loss on the road against Crown Legacy in penalties. A game that when you look at a lot of the numbers was pretty evenly matched, but the impression of Eddie Wilding and his staff was that they were disappointed with the way that game went. They felt they had more big chances than the other side and had taken more control of the match and could have taken more from the match itself as far as points and results. But he was complimentary of the fact that Crown Legacy have a good unit, and if you don't take advantage of those moments you're in control, then they could find one back. This one's been given away. Belgodier in the box, trying to juke through, passes it to the middle. The gliding touch will carry it over to the left-hand side, and it's managed by FC Cincinnati too. They'll get to work once again, only to lose the ball, and FC Cincinnati 2 will try to spring in the other direction. Here's Fletcher. Christian Fletcher. Stuttering through. Still Fletcher. And it pings away. Just his second appearance of the season for FC Cincinnati 2. Christian Fletcher trying to make it happen in the box. Unsuccessful in that attempt. Efficiency in the box, something both these teams will certainly want to see from their sides. That was something that was lacking in that Crown Legacy game for Orlando City Beat. Had several big opportunities, and if they had been more clinical, then we're looking at a great road result. Now they've had one trip into the box and another opportunity that they couldn't take advantage of just outside of it. Here's Belgadere. Play it back to Tahir Reed-Brown. Plays it to his center back, Clovis Archange. Trombino trying to slice that one through, but Camden Spire is there to intervene. Chirilla loses control, and Ignacio Gomez is able to sweep in and win the ball back for Orlando City Beat. Another one of the big takeaways from that Red Bull New York result for this FC Cincinnati 2 side is that they can play with the best teams. I mean, they've seen it this season, both in that game. They beat Columbus Crew 2 earlier on in the season. And so, moving on from here, this one falls through to Vasquez, but then the pass ends up rolling behind. Just inaccurate in that exchange. As I was saying, the thing that has to come from that match last week and from that earlier fixture against Columbus Crew 2 where you're able to find success is that you gotta gather up that consistency in training, working hard each day. As this one makes its way through. A chance to rush forward. Shot taken and knocked down. Rozek once again ready for the challenge. Issa Haruna all by himself. Saw an opportunity and was exposing it, but didn't take advantage fully. Rozek able to make the save and keep things at 0-0. It's moments like that you just can't have if you're trying to stack on positivity and on good results and performances if you're FC Cincinnati 2. It's about limiting the lows and the highs and being consistent. That comes from being consistent in training each and every day. Living out the values that the team is pushing for and advocating for. And once you build that reliability, then that builds that trust between you and your fellow teammates and the coaching staff that you know what you're going to get out of the guy to your left and your right. Sort of the question, are you living the values or is it just a slide in a presentation that you see every now and then? And ultimately these values kind of lean into just helping you be a good person as well as being a good footballer. Being selfless, giving everything you've got. Being dedicated to your craft. I mean, these are all things that are going to help no matter what you're doing, whether it be working as a professional athlete or maybe a hobby or maybe another job if, you know, it comes to that. with the MLS season ramping back up into action over these next few weeks. A lot of teams taking the opportunity to get in some friendlies before the league action actually starts, which means opportunities for players on the second teams to shine. That's been the case for both of these units as Leao lays it off to the right-hand side, tapped out to the right channel. Service sent in, nodded away by Spire. Orlando City beat the side that has had more of possession here in this match and have been trying to pin this FC Cincinnati 2 team deeper. Could be onto something here. Rolling service. Kept in bounds, preventing the corner kick. And it'll be rolled away. Good work by Sami Lashikar there. That's well managed on the other end as the home side attempt to go vertical. Talking about those friendlies, Orlando City had one on Orlando City, the proper team, had one on Wednesday and we'll have another this next Wednesday. But that first one against Tampa Bay Rowdies of the USL Championship. Harvey Sarajan, who's not in the lineup or on the bench here today, scored in that match. Which is pretty cool because not only did you score, but also you got to share the pitch with Griezmann in his debut. That's pretty neat. Sarajan along with 4 other second-teamers who got to play in that game. This portion of the match is brought to you by First Financial Bank, official bank of FC Cincinnati. Sarajan hoping he can get some more time next Wednesday on the road against FC Dallas. Spire able to jump on that one, win it back for his side. Offside flag pops up. A hopeful ball for Mosquera. Always loves a venturing run forward, the right back. Sammy Castellanos, very complimentary of this Orlando City B team. Calling them very fluid, and they don't have a set pattern to the way they like to attack. So it's been fun for him as they're on attack once again here. Shot taken and scoring is Orlando City B. Right on cue, showing some of that attacking prowess. Issa Haruna once again finds himself on an island. And he'll notch in his 3rd goal of the season. Afforded so much space on the left-hand side. He's given a second crack at it, and this time he won't make a doubt. Places it perfectly along the right-hand side. Picking out the edge and giving his team the 1-0 lead. One that they'll feel they have earned up to this point in the match. Haruna, the Ghanaian attacking midfielder. His first year as a pro was the 20th pick in the 2026 Super Draft. out of UNC Greensboro. Picked up a lot of SoCon accolades in his time there. Spire plays it over to the left-hand side as FC Cincinnati 2 hope to find a response. And a foul is given, which means a free kick for the home side. Well, as I was just saying, Sammy Castellanos very complimentary of the free-flowing style that this Orlando City B team poses. He mentions that because there is a bit of that unpredictability, it really made them focus more on themselves this week and what they were going to try to do in this game and their structure. Can't bother to try to predict what your opponent's going to do when they're super unpredictable. Imagine when you have that prospect of a team that's a little harder to put your finger on as far as how they want to attack you. It's both liberating and frightening in your preparation. Because, of course, on one end, you can't really actually do too much discussing about the things you're going to try and stop them from doing in the game because you don't really have a good grasp on what it is they're going to do. But, of course, that's also a scary thought at the same time. And even though you get the positive of being able to really focus on yourself for a week, that is still a bit of a scary thought. Always positives and negatives to any team that you have to scheme and prepare for. Sort of begs the question of, when you're going up against a team, would you rather face a team that is capable of doing many different things and you're left questioning, or would you rather go up against a team that's really good at this one particular thing and you know it's coming, but it's incredibly difficult to stop? Different people will have different opinions on that conversation, and of course, the quality of the team in question will also have an effect on your opinion on the matter. I'm sure a lot of people would think the unpredictability would be worse, but when you in the opposition have a player of like Erling Haaland's caliber, then suddenly, even if you really know what he's all about, it doesn't really make much of a difference. He's just that tough to stop. And that can also be a thought and an experience that can expand to a whole team, not just an individual player. And on the flip side, as far as opposing team assessments are concerned, Eddie Wilding described the challenge of FC Cincinnati 2 as one of an aggressive team. When they don't have the ball, they'll press you high. See some of those players giving chase now to the back line of Orlando City B as they possess. They're going to want to get after you, and then they want to make the pitch big and wide and get expansive once they have the ball. But you always got to be careful against a team that is going to press you. Of course, that brings some stress, but it also brings some opportunity, because if you're going to press, then you're leaving that space behind you. You're fishing for a mistake, and so sometimes you get to reap that reward, and sometimes you get punished for that. Goal in the 16th minute for Issa Haruna. Worth acknowledging, the assist goes to the goalkeeper, Juan Rojas. You don't get a goalie assist that often in this sport, so that's pretty neat. Once again, lends, to that unpredictability talking point. Even the goalie sometimes is looking for that killer pass. Orlando City B with the early lead in this match. Foul will be called. It'll be a free kick for Orlando City B. This portion of the match is brought to you by Mercy Health, official healthcare provider of FC Cincinnati. Mentioned coming into this game, they were in 7th place, Orlando City B. They've scored a goal, and it's pushed them all the way up to 4th, as it stands right now. That lends to the discussion about just how tight the Eastern Conference is right now. Just look at the point total of the top 7. 30 points, 31, 32, 33, 34, 34, 34. That'll be blasted away by Morozek. Whistle will sound, and that'll be in favor of the visitors. And we'll get things restarted here. Not only is this a first collision, and only collision for that matter, of the season between these two teams, but it's also a cool little first-time collision between Sammy Castellanos and Eddie Wilding. Of course, Eddie Wilding on the younger side of things as far as coaching is concerned, and so he's getting his first go at a lot of these guys, and Sammy Castellanos similarly in the head coaching role, getting his first go, though he's been in the game a little bit longer. Wilding, though, in his early 30s, taking charge of this Orlando City B program back in April. And similarly for Sammy Castellanos, taking the reins over for FC Cincinnati 2 coming into this year. Not only is the two programs that haven't seen each other this year, but also two new coaches with their own philosophies that have now had some time to actually render on these teams. You know, if these are two teams that played each other back in, let's say, March or April, then you may not actually get a real fair representation of what it looks like when these two ideas play each other and collide. I think you've gotten to the point in the year where you can actually make a genuine assessment of who these teams are and what they're aiming to accomplish. That being said, even though you could say that these two teams have been able to get through that construction phase, it doesn't mean that they're not done building and changing. For example, the coaching staff getting bolstered this week for FC Cincinnati 2. Eric Lehigh, former U.S. international player and more longtime staffer on this FC Cincinnati program, joining as an assistant coach. Orlando City B trying to crack something open again here. Belgadier had that one walled off by two defenders. The clearance jostled for, and it'll end up being a free kick for Orlando City B again. Belgadere. Now the cross comes in, and it sails over everybody's head for a harmless goal kick. As I was saying earlier about Eric Lehigh, though. 16 caps for the U.S. men's national team. Spent a lot of time in Europe as a player, and then made his way to FC Cincinnati as a coach. And initially, Sammy Castellanos knew him as a guy he coached against. As this will be a run for Mosquera, making a run. Cuts back in. He'll lay it off to Chirilla. Swerving in. And that will roll directly at the goalkeeper. Ultimately harmless from the home side. They're after it again. And it'll be escorted out for a goal kick. So we're going to get the hydration break here now. Both sides get the chance to get some water in them and recharge for the next 15 or so minutes of action. 1-0 your scoreline as it stands right now. Issa Haruna with the lone goal after he's been caught in no man's land several times. And in this occasion, he was able to take advantage. Long ball from the goalkeeper, Juan Rojas. And then Haruna makes no doubt. Just laces it with his left boot. Goes to the far post. Well done. Well done from him, the 22-year-old Ghanaian. That is how we have reached this 1-0 scoreline. Game that's been well controlled so far by FC Cincinnati, or excuse me, by Orlando City Beat. It's only been the side with more prospects going forward as we look at what's coming up after this weekend concludes. You can see FC Cincinnati 2's next game along with Orlando City B's next game, Friday and Saturday respectively. Big match for Orlando City B against Chattanooga. You don't want to look ahead too quickly, but I mean, that one certainly sticks out. Meanwhile, FC Cincinnati 2 and Toronto FC 2, both sides currently on the outside looking in as far as the Eastern Conference playoffs are concerned. If you can get a result in that game, that could be a bit of a bounce point for you as you try to see if you can slip into the playoffs. I know it's only July, but I mean, those playoffs are sneaking up. Before you know it, you'll be able to count on, well, actually, you can even do that now. Look at Orlando City B's slate. 10 more games to go. You can count on two hands the amount of games they have left to play. Can't quite say that yet for FC Cincinnati 2. Having tallied one less match. But that too is just around the corner. All right, so both teams will saunter their way back into positions here. And we're off and running again. So to wrap up that thought earlier about Eric Lehigh, Castellanos was familiar with him. Then he spent preseason with the squad as they were still building the staff. And Lehigh with some experience coaching in the U.S. national team system, along with, of course, being a player. But the big thing and the most important thing bringing him on as an assistant coach is that he has those long-term relationships with a lot of these players, something that Sammy Castellanos just doesn't have yet as someone who joined the organization, become the head coach of the second team coming into 2026. And that's helpful with insight, with just helping the load and managing, and a couple other things as Belgadier gets through one defender. Belgadier trying to skate through several. It ends up being a little too ambitious. There'll be a chance to get things stretched here for FC Cincinnati too. Fletcher. Leisurely as he dribbles forward. Super comfortable with the ball at his feet. Ball driven inside successfully. It's always helpful when you have another voice there that has the ability to have that shared understanding of what you're looking for, and so then while you focus on some more of the big picture, he can be locked in on more of the technical aspect of things. If you're focused on a broad scopes idea in training one day, if he notices a player's touch or the way they position themselves in a particular drill, he can go and talk to them personally, whilst the head coach continues on and carries on with the 1,000-foot view, if you will. This portion of the match is brought to you by Allegiant, official airline partner of FC Cincinnati. Trilla showing some quality there in traffic. Scara now has it along the boundary. It's met by Belgadier. Once again, Christian Fletcher. Body language really showing a comfortability out there, which is good to see for a guy that's back from a long-term injury. Tore his ACL in July of 2025. This is his second appearance with the second team, and then he made his unofficial debut against Burnley in the friendly on Friday. He's able to score a goal from the penalty spot. Pretty cool moment for him. And for his teammates to let him take that penalty kick. Crossing effort will sail out and ultimately do nothing too dangerous there. Every team is going to offer different challenges and different looks. And talking to Eddie Wilding this week, he mentioned that makes the assessment process after the match just a little bit different for each team. When you go back and assess that Crown Legacy game, he mentioned that he had them pinned back defending for good chunks of that match, which is something they haven't had to do a ton of this season. So in that case, he was very positive about that opportunity as Mosquera drags it to goal. Not enough bite on that one. I meant defending in a low block, holding down that box and defending the fort. But with each individual opponent and each post-match analysis, the feedback just changes a little bit, which is useful because then you give players different looks and experience different challenges, different positives with each and every match. And I mean, that's what this league is all about, is making these guys ready to handle anything, whether whether it be as a pro with the first team or as a pro anywhere else. Belgadere. He's jockeyed off that ball. Good defending there from Felix Sampson. Made his unofficial first-team debut on Friday as well against Burnley. Played about 30 minutes in that match. Good work here from Matias Vasquez. Showing some strength as he fights with the ball. He's able to get it away. Fletcher takes the shot and it skips wide. It took a punch from Rojas to save it, but a big opportunity for the home team. Christian Fletcher with a shot and a back roll in the follow-through. Nearly leveling this game. And now a corner kick. Orejuela will provide the service. Pretty harmless at the end of the day. Fletcher, nicely done. They're prowling forward once again. Chirilla stumbles, loses possession. Some sustained pressure here from FC Cincinnati too. Will it pay off with anything? Ref wags his finger. There's nothing there as far as foul play. It'll be a goal kick. Worth noting, that was the first corner kick of the match for either team. So this game being played between the margins for the most part. 8 shots total, 4 apiece. FC Cincinnati 2 now actually have more on target than Orlando City B with 3 shots on target to just 2. They're trying to have a positive spell possession here to close out the first half. Ball sent forward. Mosquera does really well to track back. Is dashing to get to that ball before Belgadere get a touch and start running with it. There'll be a fight on the other end for the ball. Interaction won by the first teamer, Tahir Reed Brown. Still in the early stages as far as making this FC Cincinnati 2 team a juggernaut brick by brick. Sammy Castellanos also having to sort of acclimate to the city itself and its culture and kind of learn what does he need to translate from just the culture of living in Cincinnati to the club. He says it's a very distinct place. Got that heavy German community, a strong soccer community, a blue-collar town. And you know, if you got a blue-collar town, it's gonna You want that at least to seep into your academy and into your club. Hard work and grit and being willing to scrap for everything. So twisting and turning has resulted in something developing here for a moment for Orlando City B, but eventually it goes a little haywire. It's a neat run from, I believe that was Caleb Trombino. 2 minutes plus stoppage time left to go in this half, and you're wondering just how much these players are thinking about that right now. And what is a humid day in northern Kentucky. Could be something here, though. Good dispossession. Getting the ball back for the visitors. Belgodier taps it in the middle for Ignacio Gomez. Shanj and Tahir Reed Brown. Swap positions here for a moment. There's some more of that positional fluidity being displayed, this time on the defensive end. Could be combining here for something now. This one played out to the right-hand side. Orlando City B, what have they got cooking? Looked pretty good there for a moment. Gustavo Caraballo, the one with the cross, but ultimately not reaching anybody. Let's see, 4 minutes being added on here. Good little movement there from Caraballo. He dashes in. He's running out of real estate. Tries to serve it in. Earns his team a corner kick. Ends up being pinged up into the air by the goalkeeper, Fabian Moralzek. And a first corner kick of the evening for Orlando. Will be played short. That's quite how they drew it up, but they still have a chance here to brew up something nice. Belgodier rips it back over to the corner, settled down nicely. Here's the service, caught by the goalkeeper. Not much difficulty there for Fabian Morazek, first teamer. Two of the 4 allocated minutes have transpired. Before these teams go into that halftime break, try to make some adjustments and see if they can improve the quality just a little bit here in the second half, whether it be for Orlando to expand that advantage they've claimed or for FC Cincinnati to have a deja vu moment from their last game and find another comeback result. That'll be nodded away as we're into that final minute. It'll be quickly taken. And the hosts find something here in the closing stages of the first half. Chirilla. Rotated to the left-hand side. Good find in the middle. Fletcher stuttering in. His shot immediately smothered. That's a good find. Hitting the brakes nicely. How about that pass in the middle? The touch just a little bit too heavy. A tad too heavy from the striker there. Chirilla on the other side. Settles it down. And the first half whistle will go. It is a 1-0 lead in favor of Orlando City B. The goal scored by Isa Haruna off the assist from the goalkeeper, Juan Rojas, to make it 1-0 for the visiting side going into the break. Coming up in our halftime show, highlights and our weekend schedule, but after the break, a Pride Month story on the importance of soccer and community when we come back.
Yeah, boys hear sentiment, flow tastes sweet like cinnamon. Open up doors, I'm a gentleman. View top floor, I'm still staying ahead of them. Running on fumes and adrenaline. Do what I do best, can't rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet. Don't ask questions, trying to figure out what sound. Don't worry about what next, just wanna know what's next. Man, I say it so loud, don't worry about what next. Just know we got now, oh yes. Man, I say it oh so proud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
June was Pride Month, and we take you to Cincinnati and superfan Mark Brockman on how he and his soccer community found each other.
I'm Mark Brockman. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm an FC Cincinnati 2 supporter. I spend a lot of time paying attention to FC Cincinnati. The 2 team is ultimately just another outlet to get away and think about soccer for 90 minutes instead of whatever else is going on. I really enjoy the opportunity to come to the games, and the 2 team is so interesting because you can see young players and know, well, Andre Trilla debuted for this team last year at 16. Well, now he's starting for the first team, and he's one of the best ball progressors in the league. And you could have seen that last year at Scudamore. And I think that's a really cool experience, and I think there's something to be said for FCC fans who have never been to a 2 game. They don't know the highs and lows of MLS Next Pro, and there's nothing really like it to be around families and people, and you can hear everything on the field. And sometimes somebody's just going to rip a long shot, and it's going to go in, and the crowd's going to go wild, and you'll never see a replay, and you were there. You know, struggling with mental health and depression, it's really like a numbness and an apathy that gets to you. And for me, at least, it's what kind of ate away. I just didn't feel anything about anything. And FCC really provided me an outlet to feel again. And it was highs and lows and excitement and anger. And one of the first games I went to, we had a player allegedly bite somebody, and GB did not bite anybody. But you know, it's controversy and it's emotion, and it's getting back to feeling things, not just being numb to the world. I think Pride Month is about community, and it's really important for me growing up. I didn't necessarily always see representation out in front of me. So growing up, I didn't know. I knew I was different, but I didn't know if it was okay. And I think Pride Month gives you a really good opportunity to get out there and be loud and proud. And it gives the younger generation an opportunity to see people living their lives as gay people or queer people. I think if there was something I was going to tell a kid or myself when I was in the closet younger, it's probably the most important thing in your life is going to be loving yourself. And if you love you, you're going to find people who will love you too. I mean, people told me it gets better and be yourself as a kid, and it always kind of sounds dumb and banal and cliche, but there really is something to be your authentic self, and you're gonna do what you're passionate about and engage in your hobbies and things you're passionate about, and you will find a community that you enjoy and that loves you for who you are. Ultimately, being yourself is going to be more rewarding than being anybody else wants you to be. And just don't be afraid, because ultimately none of it matters.
My name is Nathaniel James. You can call me Natty James. I'm a striker / winger from Trinidad and Tobago. I grew up in a place called La Hocketa Rima. I grew up in the east side of the island. I started in a club nearby named FC Santa Rosa, and that's where I started playing football. My father, he saw that I had my shoes were always dirty after school and stuff, and when I came home one day, I was like, I want to start to play football, and he was like, you want to start to play football? So my father was actually the one who started carrying me out on the field, started passing, kicking, running, teaching me running techniques, everything. Then he got me into football because he used to play as well. After that, I just started playing, and I've been playing ever since. I was in Jablote, and I was playing youth football there. So at that time, I got selected for the under-15 national team. At the time, I was just so happy just to play and just to be around this environment, and I was just so excited for my future and what I could do, and yeah, it's been going good so far. I remember actually getting called to train when I was 15 as well. So I was training with the national team since I was 15, and then I made my professional debut when I was 18, and then I made my competitive debut when I was 19. It was against Jamaica in Jamaica. I came on, played 15 minutes. I was so nervous. It was good though, it was good. I came on, had some nice touches, played really well, played as a striker, and yeah, I enjoyed it. And my first competitive debut, I actually scored in it. So I came on for 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes of the game, and scored the winning goal, and it was in a CONCACAF Nations League game. It was one of the best feelings I've had in my life. When I was younger, I used to take a lot from different players. I think Messi and then Neymar was were the two players that I would always look up to, like just watching football, because I was supported Barcelona when I was younger. And when I was like 15, like I started playing as like a cam, like a number 10. So I started watching like Dybala, and I wanted to be just like Dybala. I wanted to play like him, same left foot, same. I just wanted to move and play like him. So I think Dybala, you know, I already did my research, see what it was all about, no Texas or whatever. And then I had a meeting with Coach Carl, John. He gave me a call. It was like everything I ever wanted. He just told me about everything. He was like talking about the new stadium, Mansfield, showing me how good it's gonna be, the environment, and I just fell in love immediately. And I knew that I wanted to be here. I wanted to like put my best foot forward for this opportunity, and I've been trying my best. I've been giving my best every day, so I just want to continue that. From the first day I came here, I was like, I just want to play well, play good. I want to score, I want to assist, I want to help the team in any way possible, you know. So as of right now, my goal is just to help the team make playoffs and see how good we can do this season, see how far we can go. And I think we have a really good shot.
So my name is Edouard Nice. I'm from Belgium. I'm 21 years old, playing offensive midfielder for North Texas SC. Started playing for my hometown, Royal Sport. There's not a lot of people in my hometown. It's not really like a sport town or anything like that. It's just like a village, like a small village club. I played there for like 5 years. Yeah, that's where I started playing soccer. Coming from semi-pro back home, never won any trophy, never did anything, and then going to Northeast and just, you know, talking with the coach before joining them. He was talking about trophy, winning a national championship, and that's what I wanted. That's why I joined them. And the first year we lost in the semi-final, and we came up close, losing 0 games, losing 1 game, and it was the game in the semi-final. And then the year we came back, we won it all. So first big trophy for the college as well, first national championship, and it meant a lot to me. Yeah.
FC Dallas selects number 306 Edouard Nice from University of Illinois.
No, it was crazy. I mean, I was sitting with my whole family on the couch in my house, and even my best friend from back home, and I just wanted to hear my name, you know. Thought that was the moment for me, and it happened. So I was really happy. And one of my goals coming to America as well was getting drafted, as well as going Division 1. And just that happening was like surreal. I couldn't believe it in a sense, because, you know, going from hometown club, village, playing 6 years there, then playing semi-professional, you don't expect yourself 3 years later to get called in the MLS Super Draft and signing professional for FC Dallas. For this season, I would say, yeah, I want to be obviously the MVP of the league. That would be a good goal of mine. You know, I mean, everything possible, you know, like winning the Golden Boot, everything. Like, but at the end of the day, I just want to win a trophy with North Texas. I know they won one in 2024, and I want to win one again. You know, I want to give my teammates the best like effort from me on the field, and just like they can look up to me and be like, yeah, this guy is like trying his hardest, and we want to work for him at the same time, and just help the team winning trophies.
North Texas had its ribbon-cutting ceremony and first official practice at the new Texas Health Mansfield Stadium. With a capacity of over 7,000, Mansfield Stadium sits on a 250-acre stable entertainment district and was the FIFA World Cup base of operations for Czechia last month. The stadium opens for soccer this weekend.
Lost on the field. No. Grab it. It's for you. Thank you.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights from our match here after 45 minutes of action between FC Cincinnati 2 and Orlando City B. It starts off with Matthew Belgadier. Intervened there in an early shot. This service deflects up from Spire. Lands fortuitously to Issa Haruna. On this occasion, he wasn't able to manage, but on this one, he capitalizes, makes it 1-0, putting Orlando City B in the lead. And then on the other side, Christian Fletcher trying to have his own impact on the match. unsuccessful in his endeavor. There'll be a couple more chances for FC Cincinnati to down the hatchet as the game went along. But 1-0 is your score up to this point in the affair. With that in mind, we're going to step aside for another break here. We'll be back after this.
Yeah. Boys hear sentiment. Flow tastes sweet like cinnamon. Open up doors, I'm a gentleman. View top floor, I'm still staying ahead of them. Running on fumes and adrenaline. Do what I do best. Can't rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet. Don't ask questions. Trying to figure out what sound. Don't worry about what next. Just wanna know what's next. Man, I say it so loud. Don't worry about what next. Just know we got now. Oh yes. Man, I say it oh so proud. Don't worry about what next. Just know we got now.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
We welcome you back here to Scudamore Field at NKU Soccer Stadium, where the scoreline is 1-0 in favor of Orlando City Beat, who are on the road playing FC Cincinnati 2. Mark Schoenster with you here as they are getting ready for this second half of action. We'll see exactly how much different these two teams are and how they attack things here in the second half of action. And will it be a situation where Orlando City B is able to plant the boot on the neck and extend their advantage? Can FC Cincinnati 2 flip the script like they did last week against Red Bull New York 2? Or will it fall somewhere else? Certainly not a binary situation where just one of two things can happen. Our head official for this match, Eamon Hodzic, waiting the players to trot back out onto the field. Orlando will be going left to right, Cincinnati right to left. We had a hydration break in the first half, and safe to say we'll be having it again here in the second half. It's still 82 degrees with 73% humidity. Orlando still all huddled up. Meanwhile, the side trailing. The ones itching to get this one going once again. Not too shocking that each team would be in the role and position that they are in right now. But will that be the case as this game goes along? Orlando trying to slow things down, and Cincinnati eager to figure something out. Refs all getting their watches synced up, ready to go. As Third Sandstorm bops in the background. Whistle sounds, and FC Cincinnati will launch that one over into the corner. It's quickly retaken. We're starting to see that become the response strategy to that kickoff ploy, where the goal is to try to pin the other team back in their own half in a corner. You just have someone there ready to go to throw a ball in the moment it goes out of bounds. So then you can't even, as the team kicking off, commit the numbers forward to effectively pin the other team. With every strategic move, there is a countermeasure that develops. A sport that is ever evolving. And that'll be a free kick early on here, as David Mosquera goes to ground. It didn't take very long last week for FC Cincinnati to give themselves some hope in a game against Red Bull New York 2. There was a penalty awarded, and Stefan Chirilla was able to collect his 5th goal of the season. It'll be Chirilla behind the ball here, accompanied by Fletcher. Chirilla has a go. Oh, had some decent shape to it. Ultimately, off the mark. But it certainly wasn't a shot wasted. At least, I guess that depends on your perspective and who you ask, but sometimes you see free kicks that just get skied over and didn't have even a lick of a chance. That one had to have felt at least pretty good coming off the boot. Turning around is Caraballo. Makes his way into the middle of the pitch after he was escorted in that direction. That was the space he was afforded, so that is where he took the ball. Wondering if that offside flag is going to go up as Caraballo gets a touch. It won't. Caraballo playing it across the middle. And it glances over top, landing for a corner kick. Defender and keeper alike trying to keep that one out. Gustavo Caraballo has the chance to cut in, tries to pick out the far post. The gates were shut, but it pings out for a corner kick, which is still beneficial for Orlando City B. Played back out to the kick taker. Caraballo feeds it forward. Here's the service, not a bad looking ball. Still can do something with this. Well, not anymore. Decent work there for Orlando City B, but ultimately it ends a skied ball. Spire sends us over to the left-hand side. I was hoping to find Lachar. Oh, Herrera. We'll play it back to Sampson, one of the two center backs today, paired with Lachar. Chirilla. Back in the middle. Good intervention, and the action will continue here. Ignacio Gomez on the ball, rolling it back to his side. Mentioned in the first half, and I'll mention it again. Orlando City beat, coming into the game, 7th place in the conference. But at the moment, with the 3 points in hand, catapult up to 4th. And just a point behind the 3 teams ahead of them. Talking to Eddie Wilding about the Eastern Conference. He says there's a lot of quality just across the league in general. Not a huge difference in quality between the squads. As Chirilla cuts it to his left for Spire. He's shouldered off balance, and that's enough to keep him from getting to the ball. But the gaps between these teams just aren't very large, both in the table and also just in what they pose from the top to the bottom in the Eastern Conference. Eddie Wilding says that it's an opportunity, but it's also a challenge, because on one end of things, we were close versus Columbus, close versus Crown Legacy, but have also had some tough matches with teams that are lower down in the Eastern Conference. The big thing, though, is when we were talking about just how competitive the East is, he said, we feel we're in the mix, though. And I think they have a lot of good reasons to believe that. FC Cincinnati, too, would like to get to the point where they are, quote-unquote, in the mix themselves. And they gotta get some results to back that. And in order to do that, they need some goals, and they're trying to find one here. Ends up going out for a goal kick. Lachar turns it to his left and have an expanded bit of possession. Camden Spire, just 17 years old. One of the many players from the academy that is able to make their pro debut this season under Sammy Castellanos. Could be something developing here for Orlando City B. Caraballo plays it forward. Trying to make something happen here. Couldn't quite keep it in bounds, though. That'll be rolled back. On the ball now is Okonski. Glance out for a Cincinnati throw. Okay, nodded all the way back to the goalkeeper. Juan Rojas rolling it back into play. Goalkeeper with the goalie assist in the match here today. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ball & Gaynor, official wealth management partner of FC Cincinnati. Fletcher couldn't quite keep that one in bounds. It's a younger roster this season for FC Cincinnati too. Younger than ever, Sammy Castellanos was telling me. And then you make 11 debuts from the academy into the second team here, which is the most since the inaugural year, as here come Orlando City beat. Ball rolled in centrally. Caraballo with the shot effort, but it was skipping and ultimately unsuccessful. Fletcher now, driving in. Into the box he goes. Fletcher ran out of room, and that's that. We're going to get our first substitution of the match. Dylan Judelson making his way onto the pitch. And he'll sub on for Trombino. So really getting some experience here. The 16-year-old goes off. The 18-year-old comes on. It's the second year playing with the MLS Next Pro side, Dylan Judelson. Another product of the academy. So both these sides have something to boast for in that category, as Orlando have many a batch of players that they can show and demonstrate as success stories from the OCB Academy. Of course, some of them even making the U.S. men's national team for this World Cup. Judelson, in the last game, got his first professional goal, scoring against Crown Legacy. Get a pat on the back, but then also a little bit of a sigh. Missed his penalty in that game, but ultimately scoring a goal is, especially your first pro goal, is something you got to celebrate. And Andy Wilding said he's done a great job, had a really good season. At times has been away from the squad because he was playing with the Canadian youth national team. Missed about a month because of that. And apparently there may be some continued interest there. We'll see what unravels. Gotten our first booking of the match as well. The yellow card given to Caraballo, as the hosts try to do something here from the set piece. It's pretty far away out, so you can't directly have an attack on goal. But Fletcher likes his chances 1-on-2. Well defended and managed by Parker Amumensa. Well, some not so friendly exchanges being shared here. Christian Fletcher will be given a booking. So after we had our first yellow card, feels like in essence the dam broke a little bit, and we've already gotten our second. Yeah, that's going to get some players defensive and confrontational. Sweeping in. It's really one of those situations if you're Orlando City B to be precise, you like the fact that teammates went and stuck up for each other, as long as you don't take it too far and get into pushing and shoving and getting yourself booked and just, in general, taking it over the line of what's defending your teammate over to just being aggressive as a person. As we get a substitution on the other side. Chance Malillo will sub into the game, and Fletcher will make his way off after getting the booking. 45 minutes in his first match. He gets a little over 60 here in his second as he continues to get himself into match fitness as he tries to break into the first team. And he'll be replaced by the 16-year-old from the Congo. Another one of the academy kids for FC Cincinnati, too, that have had the chance to have a go this year and make a debut. Most academy debuts in a season since the inaugural year, and obviously you're going to have a ton of debuts that season since there is no logical way for a player to have made their debut prior. Here comes something here. Shot taken. Parried down by Morozek. Jack Mines also subbing into the game for Lachar. Here's another look at that opportunity. The shot taken by Belgadere. Here's FC Cincinnati 2. It's a shot off the left post. And we are all level at one apiece. Daver Mosquera claims his first goal of the season. And his first goal with FC Cincinnati 2. It's a big one to bring this one back on even terms. Never afraid to make a marauding run, Mosquera. And it just dings the woodwork. And it is 1-1. They've been hoping for the goals and the assists to start coming from Mosquera. And there's the first one, and sometimes it just takes that first one for it to really snowball. And it is even terms once again here between FC Cincinnati 2 and Orlando City B. Goal scored in the 16th minute by Haruna has now found a response in the 63rd by Daver Mosquera. Game on. Good move there. Can Orlando City B find a response? Caraballo is making the run out wide. He gets the pass. Caraballo. Nice move inside, trying to slice it through the middle. They'll keep pushing onward. FC Cincinnati 2 answer the bell. Two separate occasions there defensively. Judelson gets the ball back to him. Gomez does a little twirl there and then distributes. Amu Mensah driving it forward. Lays it off to his left. Belgadere clipped away. Still in possession of the visitors. And it rolls out without a fret. This portion of the match is brought to you by Skyline Chili, official partner of FC Cincinnati. Mentioned Sammy Castellanos having to get used to what it means to live in Cincinnati and be a member of Cincinnati. And, well, that's certainly one of the things that I'm sure he had to get acclimated to real quick. The Skyline Chili. Here's Malillo. As he loses his balance, he tries to rip it inside for a teammate to find, but instead it's claimed by Rojas, who quickly distributes. Malillo, another one of the young academy kids out there, getting some burn, the opportunity to have some quality minutes. It's always such a process bringing in a young teenager, an academy kid, to the professional level and playing. You got to be really careful. You never want to throw them into the fire too early. It's all about building that confidence, and if it's just too early on, then you could end up doing damage more than you could be doing good if they're not properly ready, as you get a yellow card here, the third booking of the game. That'll be on Charlie Holmes. Talking about just how much thought it takes before one of those academy kids gets a chance to play. LJ Bourne made his debut last game for FC Cincinnati too. He mentioned, Sammy Castellanos, that it had been a whole month's work leading into him playing in that game. You're going to take some hits in training, you're going to do some failing, then you're going to go to film, you're going to learn, then you're going to experience what it's like to sit on the bench during a game and not get in and play. See the highs and the lows of how it feels to win and lose at the professional level, because there's that extra level of stakes and emotions that come with that. How that feels, what it's like to travel as a professional. All that so they can be ready for maybe 10 minutes of play once they get subbed on. Caraballo, his shot's deflected. But that's just a good example of how much thought goes into each individual player and their journey developmentally for any of these teams in Next Pro, but certainly you can say that about Cincinnati and Orlando. Changes readying for Orlando City B. As this one will be kept in bounds by Fabian Moralzek. Well, if there's one thing that Orlando City B has done well in this game, it's take advantage of FC Cincinnati 2 when they start to commit some numbers forward. A team that presses, a team that gets expansive, has the tendency to sometimes leave that space behind, and that's how they scored their goal, and it's how they've authored some of their best opportunities in this game, Orlando. And it's something that they knew could be an opportunity coming into this game as they try to send some numbers forward once again, the visitors, having found the game and the lead. Slip away for now as they'll make some changes to perhaps reclaim the advantage. Titus Sandy Jr. will sub on for Parker Amumensa. And then Justin Hilton, 3 goals, 1 assist this season, will sub on for the goal scorer Issa Haruna. So he will step off, and Hilton will look to see if he can take it the rest of the way. A guy that has a tie to FC Cincinnati. Moved from there to Orlando at the beginning of 2025. Had 5 appearances with FC Cincinnati 2 back in 2024. So maybe a chance for Hilton to show up against his former club. We'll see if any of the guys on the home side have anything to say about that. Here's an opportunity. Ball was fishing for Leal, but it wouldn't reach him. Mosquera. I'll tap it back. Scored the equalizing goal in this game. David Mosquera. Chirilla. Still has the ball somehow. And then it's poked away from the feet of Leo Orejarena. Two more substitutions getting ready for the home side. Could this be something here for Orlando? Caraballo doing really well with the ball at his feet. Belgadere stutters, shoots, and scores! Orlando back in front. Lethal verticality once again demonstrated by Orlando City B. I mean, what a run that is from Gustavo Caraballo. He'll walk away with the assist. And then the finish. Very nicely done by Matthew Belgadere, getting his 3rd goal of the season. And that leads right into our hydration break as both sides will go to their respective benches. Some substitutions will most likely be made coming out of this hydration break. But now the mentality shifts for the final 15 minutes. Because Orlando now have the lead once again. You can see those two changes getting ready to be subbed on. Yair Ramos along with Nathan Gray. Belgadere, though, productive year he's having, the 16-year-old. Another one of those guys that's on an academy contract. 3 goals this season. This being his 8th start in 16 appearances, so certainly getting a ton of looks from Coach Eddie Wilding and the rest of this OCB organization. And perhaps a bit of that relationship being established between him and the 17-year-old Gustavo Caraballo, who's already on that first-team contract. Those changes will now be made. Gray is in for Vasquez. And Ramos will sub on for the young Camden Spire. So now your score is 2-1. Once again, Orlando with the advantage. Can the home side find an answer once again? Mosquera has it pinged away from him. Play out. Tried to chest that one down, and although he got a touch on it, couldn't keep it in his clutches. Mosquera, that's just played too far ahead of him. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ohio Cat, official partner of FC Cincinnati. Can Orlando get a stranglehold of this game and see this across the line, get 3 points, and keep up with the lead of the pack here in the Eastern Conference? Well, how about that for some pressure? The ball lofted over top, left something to be desired. Razek will reel this one into his box and claim it. There's a hopeful ball forward. Malillo couldn't get to the end of it, and he'll be out for a goal kick. So I mentioned a little bit about the inner thought process of Sammy Castellanos when it comes to bringing in an academy kid and getting him some minutes, and surely Orlando City B also have very similar processes as far as bringing in a youngster and getting him some minutes to play at the pro level. But also on the more broad span, Eddie Wilding certainly not unfamiliar with developing kids in the academy, having been given the head coaching job here for Orlando City B after being the methodology lead in the academy system prior to that, coaching the U18 team and also being the one in charge of how they organize their training sessions week to week. Basically what things they want to focus on and what exercises they'll use, and just basically providing the structure for the academy from the top to the bottom. So pretty important role. Makes it not very surprising that he earned himself the opportunity to then get the second team gig because of that. I feel like that's a pretty big responsibility. That is an advantage that Eddie Wilding would have over Castellanos as far as coaching the second team. Is if you've been with the academy for several years and have been working with them, then you have an understanding of what's expected, and also you just know the guys. But on the flip side, Castellanos has that sort of MLS sampler where he's been several different places, including Orlando, during its sort of infancy stages of building the academy. But then has also made stops at Red Bull New York, Chicago Fire. He had his foray into the college game as well. So you have a bit of a varied understanding of the sport and the different ways that you can attack it, which is also in itself an advantage. This goes to show the different resumes that you can have and coach in this league and how they can all be valuable. You just got to make sure you have balance in your coaching staff and just your roster of coaches and trainers to make sure you can check every box. This one settled down nicely. Chirilla follows through and the ball just spills wide. By Chirilla. Bouncing back for a shot. An opportunity for an equalizer for Cincinnati. But the look just couldn't be converted. So now a corner kick. Ball droops down. No one in a blue kit could reach it. Captain bounds, and Orlando City beat. Well, they have it for the moment. And now the whistle sounds. Changes incoming for Orlando City B. That'll be Brady Kendall and Nicolas Bobea Torres subbing into the game. Out come Leao as well as Caraballo. Fifth appearance of the year for Brady Kendall, the midfielder. 8th for Torres. They're hoping to help their team see this one to its conclusion. Was a recent scare here in favor of FC Cincinnati 2, but the line remains 2-1. Well, that was served in, but couldn't get a touch on it there. Was Nathan Gray. Just the goalkeeper and the goal in front of him. That ball was screaming in. But another chance goes to the wayside for an equalizer for FC Cincinnati 2. OCB on the other side. They're going to see if they can deliver the punishing blow, but some good defensive work from Cincinnati once again will keep possession with the home team, the side that's hunting for an equalizer. Mosquera. Hopeful ball rolling forward. Going out to retract that one is Fabian Moralczyk, the goalkeeper. Time ticking away here for FC Cincinnati 2. They found one equalizer here in the second half. The 63rd minute goal from David Mosquera. Only for 12 minutes later, Matthew Belgadere off a great run from Caraballo. Return the lead back to Orlando City B. Malilo chests it back to the goalkeeper. They'll once again reload and push forward. Mosquera dribbling in. There's this one back to Malilo. Could this be something promising here? It's a curling effort for Arena. And it ends up being easy for Juan Rojas to the point that he doesn't even have to grab it and can kill off some more time by dribbling around, awaiting the pressure. Wise move from the 18-year-old goalkeeper who has an assist in this game. They'll blast it up the field. Trying to get some of that hang time to wind away more of the time on the clock. Mosquera. Chance for a cross here. Ends up being parried away nicely. Getting into bunker mode here for Orlando City B. Can FC Cincinnati 2 break through the block here? Malilo. Rolling service. Once again, intended target couldn't quite combine on it. There's a lot of tugging and pushing there from Arena. And he will be given a yellow card. As we see 5 minutes tacked on for the closing stages of this affair. The one and only time these two teams will meet this season, at least as it stands on the schedule right now. Orlando City B trying to make it a clear 3 points from this one and only scheduled meeting. Nice turn here from Belgadier. Trying to dribble it by the defender, Mosquera, unsuccessfully. Check that, he was trying to dribble by Charlie Holmes. Ball played forward for Mosquera. Oh, he's upended. It's a hefty collision. You can see some physical demonstrations with props suggesting how the fans feel about that fouling effort. Mosquera goes down. And it won't even be a fouling effort. At least not against Orlando City B. You see the yellow card from a fan being brandished, but that will not be the punishment on the pitch. Ball staying in bounds and then launched up the field. Well done there on the play. Right, Titus Sandy. This rolls over wide to the right-hand side. And once again, a goal kick awarded. Nothing to be generated for FC Cincinnati 2. They're running out of time here to find an equalizer and push this one to pens. After that ball scuffled about a little bit. Goes out for another throw for Orlando City B. Just over a minute left of the allocated 5. Titus Sandy Jr. will be the one to throw this in. They'll look to keep possession all the way to the conclusion. Well, that's really well done. Just a wonderfully chested ball. It's still kept in bounds, squared to the middle. Ref says play on the contact. Still in the clutches of Orlando. Cross sent inside! And that ball was well off target. 30 more seconds. A lot of promise there to put the nail in the coffin if you're Orlando City B. But it's still 2-1. Mosquera goes down. A yellow card once again getting brandished. But it won't be the case here on the field. Oh, wait. No, there it is. Titus Sandy Jr. goes into the books after being subbed on in this match. This time the fan suggestion will be translated to the pitch. This could be the final chance for Cincinnati to equalize. It's a deep free kick. Gonna take a pretty good service here. Goalkeepers come up. Ball dips down and it's caught by Rojas. And that will do it. Orlando City B come on the road and get all 3 points against FC Cincinnati 2. 2-1 your final score here as the boys from Florida get the job done just outside of Cincinnati in northern Kentucky. They'll go up to 33 points on the season, which puts them right in the conversation for top of the Eastern Conference. Boy, is that going to be a tight race as the rest of this season unfurls. And we're getting to that point where it is that stretch, 10 more games to go for Orlando. So each and every result and each and every point you can claim will matter. Two goals in this game. One from Issa Haruna, and then the game winner from Matthew Belgadere. But the player that will be our man of the match will be, of course, from Orlando City B. It's going to be Gustavo Caraballo, and presented by Adidas. And that's because it was just a fantastic assist. We see this goal from David Mosquera. At the time, put the game back to 1 apiece. But then Caraballo makes the run and finds the assist, leading it off to Belgadere, who finishes the job. And makes it 2-1 to win the game for Orlando City B. For our entire MLS Next broadcast crew, MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, excuse me, I'm Mark Schoenstert. Once again, our final score is 2-1. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball. Good night, everybody.